Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today I've got this Lush Leaves embossing folder from Spellbinders, and I'm going to bring in some pine needles, distress oxide ink, and ink up my embossing folder. And I just had my brush and then I just took my ink pad straight to it and inked it up, and then I ran it through my die cutting machine. And I wasn't completely happy with the results. I kind of had like some areas where it was almost puddling, and so I took my blending brush and kind of blended over it, and then I grabbed a napkin and kind of blotted it up, and I tried to clean it up as much as I could. And so I've got this panel and I'm thinking I'm ready to glue it over, and then I see it and I'm like, I should have added the ink to the other side. And so I'm just going to take that blending brush and that pine needles that's on there, and I'm just going to ink up this side of it, and I'm going to actually put the deboss side up on it, and it actually turns out pretty nice. I like this. Now I am trying to redeem myself from a live that I did the other day when I was working with the sunset in a glass from Spellbinders, and I assembled that thing completely wrong. I just bungled the whole thing, and so I thought I would redo it and try again in this video. So I do try again, and I did get it assembled correctly and everything, but I think I could have used a lighter color for my glass, but you'll see that as we go. So I'm getting plenty of glue down here because, we've got an embossed panel. Just getting it lined up on my A2 size card base, and then I'm bringing in kind of a turquoisey glitter paper for my glass, and the color matches very well with the blending that I did on the panel, but it doesn't pop out as much on camera or on video as it does, I guess, in person. So anyway, so I've just die cut it out with this really thin glitter cardstock, and the etched details are very nice from the die on it, and it turns out really nice. And so I'm just pulling it apart carefully. I think I even have to bring in my craft knife because that paper just wasn't the best paper to use for it, but I am able to work around it, and I get my glass all cut out, and I'm just kind of messing with it, and I think I'm going to bring in a piece of Spellbinders cardstock and layer it up with some good solid cardstock. And so that's what I do. I just die cut out another one, and then I'll layer the two of those up. And you can see this pops out perfectly because it's really good cardstock. And then I'm just going to layer these two up on there, and we'll still have that glittery glass look on there. So I'm just going to get it assembled, use my glue press and get it assembled. So anyway, this live the other night, I bungled it up so much. I had a good group on there, and they were very kind, and Michelle had even tried to tell me how to assemble it, but I just kept pulling it apart and putting it back together, and anyway, it was just terrible. And so I thought I would just try again, and now I don't know why I couldn't, in my mind, get my mind wrapped around the order of these layers that they go in. I knew they just didn't fit, but anyway, once I stepped back and looked at it after the live was done, I knew exactly what I had done wrong. So this piece here I'm laying down is like the movement of the water. Well, now we've got the base. That's going to be the sunset. The smaller piece is the water, and then we've got two like islands, a sun, and then kind of the top of the glass there. So I'm just die cutting them all out in white, and I didn't tape them down, and it shifted on me. So you can see me fooling around with my scoring tool to get them laid back down so that I can get them die cut out. I'm just leaving all of my little fumbles in for you to see, but I was being lazy and I didn't want to tape it down. So I got everything die cut out, and my sun had shifted, and so I've got like a flat side on it. So I'll go ahead and get another piece of white, and I'll die cut out another sun, and then we'll be able to begin blending all of our inks on these. So we'll just get that die cutting machine out of the way, and I'll go and grab some inks. And I just grabbed, I grabbed dried marigold, mustard seed, crackling campfire, speckled egg, prize ribbon, antique linen, uncharted mariner, stormy sky, and those are the ones I grabbed. I didn't use them all. I think I wound up using speckled egg and uncharted mariner, for the water, and then I used dried marigold and mustard seed for the sun. And so that's what I wound up doing. I'm trying to see. Actually, I used Broken China and Uncharted Mariner. Those are the two that I used. I had an extra one laying there. So this is like the ripples in the water, and I made it the lighter color. It kind of would be maybe where the sun would reflect on the water and maybe make it look a little bit lighter or brighter. And then this smaller piece is going to be the water, and it's going to layer on top of that other bigger piece. And that's where I got completely wrong. On my live, I put this smaller piece at the top, and I knew it wasn't fitting right, but I don't know, my head, when you're live, you really, you're trying to entertain and talk and craft and video and, everything all at once. And you're not always able to think clearly, or at least I'm not. Anyway, so I'm just going to use this dried marigold to create my sunny area. And then I'm going to bring in some of that crackling campfire just to add a little darker to the sunset area. And then for the actual sun, I'm going to bring in the mustard seed and ink it up. And then I'll use my blending brush to add some orange to it just to give a little definition. And I was real pleased with the blending on all of this. And I thought it came out like I wanted it to. And now I've got the kind of like the sand dunes or the island or whatever you want to call it, and I'm using the antique linen for that, and I think it makes a good kind of a sandy color. Ultimately it won't show that much because I do wind up putting a piece of vellum over it to make it look like a glass cup. So here's how you assemble it. I'm just laying it all there. So I've got the darker blue on top of the orange, and then the lighter blue on top of the darker blue, and then we'll bring in our islands or our shore or whatever you want to call it, and get those laid down, and then that's how it goes. And then the sun would go on top of them. So I've got it all figured out. I'm going to try and decide, do I lay the blue directly on top of the orange, to where it lines up at the bottom. And so I'm just measuring it to make sure, and that is how you do it. And now I'm going to piece in the other pieces and just make sure everything's going to fit like I want it to. Just dry fitting it, making sure that it's going to work. And then put my sun set there. And then we've got our little top to our, the rim of our drink, I guess I should say, like the top of the drink. And I'm just taking my blending brush and using what's on there to blend it up. And then we're going to get it all assembled. So I'm going to lay the water down on top of the bottom panel, and we'll just get everything lined up just as it is. So let's see, what have I been doing? I have been just trying to get all of my required videos done, and I am worked ahead, I think until, I even think I have maybe the 30th or something. But then I realized, I've been working ahead on all these deliverables, and I don't have anything for my channel. So it's kind of late on Saturday evening, and decided I'd go ahead and get this put together and try to redeem myself to some extent. But I'm not totally happy with how this turned out. If I had it to do over again, I would do the glass in something that would pop off of the green background panel better. And I might not have even added the vellum to it. And I wonder, I could probably almost pull that off if I wanted to. In fact, I think I can. But anyway, so I'm just going to get the kind of the rim of the drink and get that laid down on there. And then I'm just going to grab it with my tweezers and turn it over and get some glue on there and try to get this attached. And so I decided to lay it upside down and then just put my back panel on there and then kind of realign it when I get going. So that right there looks pretty good, I think. I think it turned out all right. And I'll just get it inked up and get it laid down on my card base. And I'm going to bring in my acrylic block just to kind of press it down. I had, an embossed panel there, so I had a lot of raised areas that I had to kind of get it to. And I'm cleaning up the glue around there because I did have some glue kind of seep out. And I think this is where I decided to go ahead and cut a piece of vellum to put over it. And so I just press on and get the vellum die cut out. And then I'll have to trim it down because it's the size. It should have gone underneath the glass if I'd have put it in there. So I'm just going to get it laid down in my glass with the vellum down in there. And I think I just used a little bit of sticky tape runner to get it to lay down. But in the meantime, I've decided before I do that, I want to get my straw in there. And I thought I could have tucked it behind, but then I thought, well, you'd be able to see the straw within the cup, so I didn't necessarily need to tuck it behind my scene. I could put it in front of it, so I'll go ahead and just die cut it out of some inexpensive silver paper that I have here. And I will just add my straw to my drink, and I'm going to tuck it through the lid there. And I tried to tuck it behind, and then I realized I'm just going to tuck it in front. And I'm going to have to cut it down because it's way too long. I think maybe it would have needed to be a bigger card to have that straw with the cup. So I just cut it down, and I'm just going to clean up my mess and put some tape runner on this, and then I'll tuck it down into my cup. And I do think I like this actually better without the vellum on there. But you're going to get to see me lay it down. And then in the picture at the end, you'll get to see it without the vellum because I wind up pulling the vellum off afterward because I just think it looks better so that you can see the scene better. And so that's what I wind up doing. So I'll have a picture at the end without the vellum. And I'm still trimming it. I'm trimming each of the sides so that it'll just tuck right in there. This is where I take my tape runner and just add a little tape on there and then stick it down. And I've got that tape everywhere. It's sticking to my fingers, and so I'll just stick that down. I think if I went with more vibrant color on there, or maybe thinner vellum, it would have worked better. Now here I'm just taking a panel that I had some yellow on, and I'm just using the hello and the larger banner, and I'm going to die cut it out and attach that to my straw that's hanging out of the side of my cup. And there's just a little scoring in there, so I'll just score it and tuck it around my straw, and then I'm going to add some glue to get it pressed down. And there we go. So that, I have it all assembled properly this time. And then I'm going to bring in some enamel dots and just lay them down because it seems like there's a lot of green space with not much going on. So I'll get those laid down there, and this will finish up our card. I still think I can do better than this with it, so I may try again later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.